Hey, what's up, AfterBuzzers? Welcome to the after show for TNT's Animal Kingdom. We got a great show tonight and a special guest in studio, so stay tuned.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AfterBuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
So dark.
Brooding.
Super dark.
Overdoses, violence. Tatted up dudes walking around the kitchen with their shirts off. It's just dark.
That is right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the after show for Animal Kingdom. I'm your host, Alina Vission. You can find me on all social media at Alina Vission. And I'm gonna introduce our special guest first. You know her as Ren Randall on the show. She is a smart girl, beautiful, gorgeous, and talented. It's Christina Ochoa.
Hi guys, thank you for having me.
Yes, and where can the people find you on the interwebs?
On my Instagram, I'm Ochoa Christina, and on Twitter, I'm Christina_Ochoa. I know I failed at that.
It happens, it happens. And of course, I'm joined by my lovely co-host. To my left, I have...
Hey guys, Leslie Ambriz here. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at In Less Than No Time.
What's up, guys? My name is Ben Bateman. You can find me at Ben Bateman Media on Twitter and Instagram. And we did an extended interview with Christina. So if you hear stuff about the show and you're like, I want to know all about Christina, there's a cool interview you can find a spotlight on with her that AfterBuzz TV has hosted. So we'll try to stay show centric. But she plays Magic the Gathering. I found that out. If you want to hear more about that, those are things that you can find out in the interview.
I love it. Well, it's so great to have you on. Your character had a lot going on.
Yeah, this was a pretty intense episode for Ren. It was also the first one that we shot for my character.
Really?
Yeah, because we were doing block shooting and it's all location based. So Ren's house and the hospital just so happened to be some of the first locations. So Ben and I met and immediately started doing the scenes from this episode first.
Wow.
Nice introduction.
Yeah,
definitely.
Especially the first scene.
Yes, that is one of many that we ended up doing together.
Well, that is awesome. Let's talk about the whole Craig and Ren situation combination.
Dynamic.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. I mean, we see you OD, or your character OD, and Craig goes and steals all your stuff. I mean,
He's
what a
such
winner.
a catch.
Yeah.
Such a
pick 'em
catch.
good.
Exactly. Yeah, he panics, and our relationship kind of shifts and whatever throughout the show, but we've been hooking up basically. We've been in this weird relationship since we were in high school. And, I think that underlying it, there is a really good connection, and it is a love story of sorts. But Craig is Craig. Craig is who he is. And given the opportunity, thinking that I am dead, he takes my stash.
Yeah, what a winner.
Man.
What a guy.
I felt so sad for your character when she was in the hospital bed.
Oh,
she was like,
yeah.
you're going to hurt him. I was like, oh, no.
Sweetie.
Goes to show. I mean, you know how much I actually trust this son of a gun. Like I think that he's gonna come rescue me in his big white horse shining armor.
Yeah. Right, it was tragic, but the thing is about Craig is that so they all have their dark side. Every one of the characters, the guys at least on the show do. I think Ren seems like she has her dark side as well. But he kind of seems to have a little bit of a heart of gold. I feel like is what I felt like until this episode. He's a big doofus, but really lovable.
Yeah.
I think he's really just horrible in this episode. He just ripped. She was dead, and he ripped her off. He was gonna take all her. That's horrible.
Yeah, it is really, really dark. But at the same time, I mean, I'm biased, of course. So I feel like, but look, he comes to the hospital and he was trying to take care of her and is holding her hand, and he's gonna, I don't know. Maybe he fesses up, maybe he doesn't, maybe we find out it was him, maybe we don't. But at the same time, I feel like there's a sweetheart, like you said. There is a heart of gold down there. I mean, he also wears his dark side on his sleeve versus some of the other characters.
Yeah.
They're better at hiding it. He's pretty much the volatile, kind of visceral character, and he just doesn't know how to say no.
Right. Now, is this relationship with him, is it official boyfriend-girlfriend, or is it kind of hooking up, buddies?
It's official boyfriend-girlfriend, but it's not exclusive. I think they, that for them, it's about the competition. in a way. So they have a very competitive relationship, and I don't know how much, or at least that's the way we tried to play it, is where they outdo each other with the drugs, and they outsurf each other, and they screw each other. Can I say screw? I was going to say something else. I was like, you know, like but they also do that separately. So, you know, Craig is not the only guy that she is seeing, and Ren is not the only girl, as, you know, made evident by just the pilot, even, that he's going to be seeing.
Craig's a wild man. He seems to definitely, he seems to be the womanizer of the group. I mean, I guess in their own ways, they're all kind of womanizers. Well, no, Darren's definitely not a womanizer.
Yeah.
He tries to be.
To like cover it up, he is.
Yeah.
Does he? Have we actually like seen Darren with a girl?
No.
In front of anyone?
We've seen him slap a few butts and talk to some strippers, and that's about
he
it.
threw some cash.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it. Like, he really tries to play that part, but and even if you notice, Smurf isn't as touchy-feely with him as she is with.
She probably knows.
Yeah, I think she knows.
I wouldn't doubt it. Nothing gets past that
She's like,
woman.
Again, I'm pretty sure that if I had to guess at this stage in the show, Smurf already knows some of it. And then I think that Darren, so Jacki Weaver's relationship with Spencer Clark, who plays Adrian, and we've already seen established in the last episode, I think that that's a really interesting relationship that we're going to get to see as well, that kind of explores some of Darren's confusion.
Right.
Yeah, definitely want to see more of that.
Spencer Clark, who plays the son in Gladiator, for those of you that are curious.
Every week.
Well, look, it's just exciting.
It's a big highlight for Ben over there.
It is. He picks his fun facts and then just throws them in.
It's a big one. But anyway, so I just felt terrible for her at the end of the episode, and also, you know, made me think a little less of Craig. But so at least you're alive. That's a good thing. There was a second there.
Yeah, it was. I was surprised at one point when I was reading the script too. I was like, oh, okay, well, I guess this is how I go.
Right.
And you know, then Eitan Frankel, who wrote this episode, he does a brilliant job of giving the characters, all of them, a beginning, a middle, and an end, like a really nice arc in the episode. So for Ren's character, for example, when we start off, finally Craig is healed from his bullet wound. He can finally perform, and he's back to being worth not surfing, I guess. And so, you know, they're very alive, and they're very vibrant, and they're having this crazy sex scene that, you know, is brilliantly shot, by the way, by our DP, Lauren, and Simon, the camera up. And they do a great job of capturing that. And then by the end of it, they're both kind of miserable, and she's in the hospital, and she's almost dead. I'm like covered in coconut oil and glycerin, and it's a great. I love the arcs that they're giving the characters.
Now, you said that's one of the first scenes that you guys shot.
Yes.
So obviously it's an intense scene to like. And had you had met Ben though before?
Ben and I had met at the table read initially, and we had brief conversations about how we wanted to establish the relationship. What are we PDA? Are we in love? Are we not? What kind of those decisions.
Got it. And so you guys actually like know each other a little bit before you just like show up on set and they're like, all right guys, shoot this scene.
Yes, barely. I mean, it was definitely like, hi, nice to meet you. So you're doing a line of coke off my ass today. Hi, you know, that's exciting.
Yeah.
So it was definitely one of those scenes that you're just thrown into.
So it was kind of like that.
It was kind of like that. Yeah,
Crazy.
It was definitely like that. And you know, but honestly, I couldn't have gotten luckier with a partner like Ben. He was comforting and professional and amazing from the get-go. Like, he had his shit together, everything. Sorry, am I?
You're fine.
You're
Okay,
good. Don't worry.
He had his stuff together, and we had a very similar approach to the relationship coming in. So it was, and you know, whatever. It's like the two European characters, or like two European actors. Like, go ahead, go do whatever you need to do.
Yeah,
Do you
sure.
have to mentally prepare for that at all, or you just go in kind of, okay, this is how it's going to happen, and boom?
You know what it is? I think that especially for this show, those scenes, and you see them, I mean, right now, I think that Craig and Ren's relationship is what exemplifies the sex portion of it. But there are other scenes that will come on the show that are of that intensity and that nature. They really do serve the characters. Okay. So it was a very easy choice and decision to be like, we want to make this the best we can. We want to come in and we want to give a performance during that scene. So it's not just kind of like, oh, put your hand here so that you can't see this, and put your... And again, it's shot so well that you really don't have to worry about it in the moment. You just worry about connecting and having that chemistry, and
Right, and I'm sure you're both professionals, so
Yeah,
within
definitely.
5 minutes, it's like we're just in this, doing this, and then right.
Yeah.
Right.
How long does it take to shoot something like that is so intricately? The blocking is so intricate, I'm sure.
There's no blocking.
There's no blocking in that scene. They're just like,
You
guys,
just
just
go
go
for
for it.
There's, I think, I might post this at some point. Like, it's written so well in the scene. It just says, like, a scene that would make Dionysus jealous. He's rough. She's rougher. He does a line of coke off her ass. She does it. Like, it's so well written. But then we get on set, and it wasn't choreographed, and it wasn't blocked. It was
Wow.
kind of like, you guys go do it. And it's up to us as professionals to choreograph it the same way you would with a fight, honestly, with like a fight scene where you'd be like, well, what about if I punch you here and then, you grab my, it's the same thing except the conversation is now like, well, what about if you grab my ass and I do
Right.
this? That's the only difference. But again, that's why I say props to the camera op and the DP because they do such a brilliant job of following the action without, necessarily messing it up or like,
Getting too much.
yeah, and without intruding, which is
Right.
really important for those moments when you are trying to just connect with your partner in the scene. So kudos to them because they do an amazing job.
So what level? So like going forward now, after she's in the bed and she's like, Craig, you need to avenge me, and he's like, oof. What level of like involvement in like the I don't know crime goings on? Like, is she ever gonna cross over from being this one character that's just in this room with Craig to like actually at the house and she knows everybody and
She knows the brothers and they know her.
Right.
They know each other. I guess we'll have to wait and see if there's a crossover or
Okay.
if, that's something that they are keeping for future seasons or what's going to happen.
got it. Yeah, I don't want to spill the beans.
I just can't, yeah, exactly. There's so much, but I think that right now it's just, she's on a mission.
Yep.
To find out who did this to her, or have Craig basically find out who did this to her and
Yeah.
make them pay. So I think that that's where the next few episodes kind of like are going to center around.
Right.
Cool, and we get a little bit
Yeah.
more of her in the next couple episodes.
Yes.
Awesome.
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 I just want to know, how did you get involved with the project?
I auditioned just like a standard process,
Right.
just like every other actor in LA. I auditioned for a different part. Actually, I auditioned for the part of Lucy. Which I think we saw in episode 2 a little bit,
Right.
with or 3 with Baz, and I auditioned for that part. And then, I guess the writers and the casting director, and they thought I was more fitting for Ren. Also, I think that they wanted somebody who was going to go through certain physicality and match with Ben Robson, so like who was tall, who was this, like all these different
Right.
things came into play, and I auditioned, and the next day I auditioned for the different part. Like I came in and read for Ren, and a week later I was doing this. It was a very fast process. I was at the table read with these incredible, wonderful actors. Yeah,
So super quick.
super quick.
Had you been a fan of like Speedman from Gilmore Girls or any of the other actors on the show?
I wasn't familiar with Scott's work. I was very familiar with Ellen's
Right.
work, and with some of Sean's work as well. I recently got addicted to Peaky Blinders. Do you guys see that? Which
I haven't watched that. I know
Finn
it's so,
is
it's
on.
so
things
good, though.
about it.
Oh God, it's so good. So Finn is on that, and I wasn't familiar with a lot of. I wasn't familiar with Ben's work either
Yeah.
on Vikings, but they have such a great following because they're such good actors.
Yeah.
And the environment on set is really impressive when it comes to that because everyone is really in their
Yeah.
in their zone. Yeah.
Who's the biggest charmer? This is a question we asked our friend asked.
Daniela.
Yeah,
Or-
yeah. Daniela.
Yeah. Who's the biggest charmer?
Yeah, like not in character.
Finn?
Is he?
Yeah, I mean, just to take probably
Okay.
Finn.
Yeah.
Finn, Finn, maybe it's just because it's so shocking because he's so mature for such a young age.
Yeah.
And he's such a
Right.
professional, and you don't expect that with someone his age.
Right.
He walks on set, and he just has like a little swag to him that is really, but all of them, and they have those crazy British accents that I don't understand, but I think are charming, and they.
That'll get you
Yeah.
definitely.
They just like, I'm like, can you do that in an American accent? Just so I understand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, fair enough.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
All
What
right.
did Daniela say?
Oh, who is the most charming? I
Yeah.
think
She
she's.
might have also said Finn.
I think she
No, I think she said Darren. I think she
Darren?
said there was something about Darren. Yeah.
So Jake.
Jake.
Yeah, I think so.
Jake
Yeah.
is amazing, and in his scenes you see it, but he has this ability to almost throw away his lines and make them brilliant. Like you never see an effort in his acting ever.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And I know that this episode was a little lighter, but even in that moment where he's with Ellen, he holds his own, where he like slams the table today.
Yeah.
So that was all his own improv, just it wasn't in the script.
There's also another scene where he's improving, where he says something like, I'll show you about paintball or something. That wasn't scripted. That's just, they're like, okay, just ramble on and talk, to each other. And Ellen is walking by, and that's just them riffing off and saying different things.
So
I love it.
That's awesome.
I love it.
insane.
Let's talk about Pope and Jay.
Yeah, the
Jump in.
bromance.
Yeah, you were
bromance of the
saying
show.
that there is a bromance, and I feel it brewing too.
Yeah, I love
Definitely.
it. I tweeted at Sean last week, and he liked my tweet about it. It was not a big deal.
you know.
But
loved it.
I know, I love it. I love the bromance. I saw it coming last week, and you guys were like, I think he's maybe using him, and admittedly he might be. But the graveyard scene tonight made me feel a little bit more like they're on the same team. It starts to make you feel actually more and more that of all of the brothers, that Pope feels like he is actually the best dude. He's just a little crazy. Like, he's just got problems.
Just a little bit.
But that, like, in reality, that maybe he is, in fact, the one who has like, the best heart or something. But I don't know. That's like, sort of what I'm starting to feel like when I watch.
I feel like that, especially after the graveyard scene. I don't know if he's the best brother yet.
Yeah.
Still not quite sure
Who
about
would you
that.
say is? I'm just curious. Like, who would you say is the best brother? If you had to pick, what was the line that Ellen, that like Smurf says? Like, if you were on an island,
You're right.
Yeah.
who
to
would you
pick
pick?
one.
Which Cody boy would you pick?
For some reason, and it's not a Cody boy, I'd go with Baz. And
Yeah.
I know, like, he kind of threw people underneath the bus tonight.
Oh, so hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He definitely played them out. But for some reason, I would trust him more than any of the other guys.
But you were talking the characters.
Right, exactly.
okay.
Yeah.
Not the actors.
Yeah.
Is that what you mean?
You're like, forget the looks, the characters.
Yeah. Pope, there's just something a little off clearly
yeah,
about
obviously.
them. But I do like the relationship that's starting to sprout between
Yeah.
him and
I don't think
Jay.
it's gonna last long though.
You don't?
No.
Why is that?
I just there's so many instances where we see these characters just start to kind of get into a little bit of a great relationship, and then the minute we get comfortable with it, boom, somebody turns on the other person.
Right.
And I totally see that happening with Pope and Jay, whether that's he throws him under the bus for the watch with Nikki because he's the only other person that knows about it.
Yeah.
I kind of see that coming because, I mean, Pope obviously wants Nikki too, so.
Yeah, right.
You want something.
And Nikki's probably 16, 17,
17,
something like
yeah.
that.
But age doesn't matter in this
well, I'm
show.
just saying, he's an ex-con, and if she's underage.
Teachers,
it's-
grandmas,
Yeah.
it don't matter.
It's
Well,
all good.
Smurf is really grooming. If you notice, like actually, Nikki and Smurf have some really great scenes. It's almost
Yeah.
like Smurf is starting to groom Nikki.
Well, I've been
Right.
I've been predicting since the first episode that like my long-term prediction is like Nikki gets like brought into the family, she gets like tossed around the guys and gets hooked on drugs. That's like what I think happens, and then Jake just has to kind of watch. It's like, oh no, like your
Jay
life's being
starts hooking up with his
ruined.
teacher.
Yeah, and the teacher
He'll
comes
be too
around.
busy over there, yeah.
Oh, those Cody boys.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
no telling what will happen with them.
Exactly. So let's talk about the confession,
Yeah, right?
because that was huge.
What a jerk. I can't believe Baz. I can't believe him. That was, for me, and like, in no way do I, like, know how to navigate being a criminal and, like, when do you keep your mouth shut? When do you keep your mouth shut? Like, when do you snitch?
That's
but, like,
amazing. Uh-huh.
guys, I've watched a lot of TV, and, like, no, but I just couldn't believe he did it. How do you do that? How do you just, like, sell out your brothers like
To
that?
save yourself.
I could feel it coming.
It is
Yeah.
called Animal Kingdom.
He doesn't even really save
It's
himself.
Survival of the fittest.
He kind of saves himself, but he kind of admits that he was like, he knew what was happening. He's like, he snuck it through. I guess he doesn't say we sold it to Ren and I pocketed my
Right.
half of the cash.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
He doesn't say that, but like, come on, man. Like, I don't know. I wasn't
No,
impressed.
things are going down for him, so he's gonna throw anybody he can under.
Brandon Self says, how cool was the teacher, though? Yeah. Yeah, she was.
So good. Ellen Rowe plays Miss Anderson. She's really, really brilliant, and we're gonna see really great scenes between them.
Yeah.
So there's more.
Yeah.
Oh, there's more.
Yay.
Yeah. Is that a spoiler? Oh no! Did I do that?
kind of figured. I mean, she did invite him on a trip,
He
so.
did smoke his joy and then ask him on a date.
Oh,
It's all
she's
good.
just really. I think she's. Her character is very well played, and as an actress, she does a brilliant job of kind of this teacher, this weird, and it's all about that ambiguity, right? With the women on this show, is it's always like you never know if they're good or bad, or if their self-interests are coming first, or if they're really genuinely connected to the guys, or Yeah.
or if they're crossing the line or not.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't believe. Well, no, I definitely knew as soon as she walked up she was smoking the joint.
Yeah.
I didn't.
Yeah.
I actually maybe like right when she walked up, I didn't know, but as soon as the joint got thrown down and she like picked it up, I was like, oh, she's definitely gonna be lighting that joint in just a second.
And she sent Nikki away.
100%.
She does not like Nikki.
No, she doesn't.
Yeah.
She doesn't.
She's like, that's my man.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, it's not, lady. Keep walking.
That's your student. That is your student. How far do you think
God.
that relationship is going to go?
I don't know, but I love
think
it.
I could see it going. It's gonna go all the way. It's gonna go all the way.
It's like every
And then
schoolboy's
Jay will
fantasy.
be like, "Wait, what the hell am I doing?" And
yeah.
that's it. Yeah, that's my.
Or like,
prediction.
what if the teacher ends up over at the house and she's like, "What's going on?" Maybe the teacher's the one that gets hooked on smack and gets not Nikki. Maybe I'm wrong there. Maybe they both do. I
Maybe.
don't know. The house turns into like a brothel or something.
That's their new business.
Yeah, crazy.
They're running low on cash, so
Yeah,
you know,
exactly. Got to do what you got to do.
anything will work.
So let's talk about Pope and everyone at the strip club.
Yeah.
The birthday at the strip club.
What a
that
weird
was a
scene.
weird, intense scene, and I mean, he has a lot of those just weird scenes.
this was the
this
max.
one, does it top last
one
week's?
of the.
Because last week's with his mom when he's cuddling with his mom.
Yeah, this
that was
this
creepy.
tops.
That was the weirdest for me.
Yeah, I think
Really?
that one was the weirdest for me too.
Because that one was so suggestive, and he just gets in
Right.
bed, and like you don't cuddle with your mom
No.
like that. You
Not
don't
at
go
that
big
age.
spoon on your mom. But like this is what I was afraid of was going to happen in the dressing room. Because I've seen over the years in movies and TV, like in that moment when there's like the unassuming prostitute or stripper character who's like giving way too much credit to somebody who's clearly not right, then like the male takes out violence on that character.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
like that was like what I felt like they were setting up. But in my mind I was like, if they take Pope down that road, that feels really difficult to recover from. Like that's not. It's way harder to see his character going forward as somebody that you kind of want to root for if he starts beating
As a
woman.
redeeming quality,
Right,
you mean?
exactly.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
hard with stuff like that because they're all criminals and like they killed a cop, so we shouldn't really be rooting for any of them. But it's something. There's something different about it if it's just like he's just like she's there and she's like, your family gave me $1,000 to show you a
Right.
good time on your birthday, and then he like beats her to death and be like, can't be on board with this guy at all
But isn't
anymore.
it actually creepier almost what he did do?
Yeah.
Well, definitely it's creepy.
yeah. Thank you. I was like, where is he going with
Traumatizing. Like I can only imagine like the stripper who was played by Cameron Grimes, I think. Like she came in and she was like, I remember her at the table read just being really stressed out and being like, man, this is twisted.
something.
I mean, like, don't get me
Yeah.
wrong. Like, it is that's definitely creepy. But like, she's in the room willingly, knowingly going to have sex with this guy. So they had sex, and he like said some really creepy stuff, which is awful, but not the same as he like beating her to death. That's
right.
like, I mean, not to say that I really root for Pope one or
I
another.
was like,
But like, one is like morally recoverable as like an audience member. Maybe I don't know. I'm gonna stop talking. You guys go.
yeah, just stop. No, I mean, even for me watching it, like, I have a bad habit of like putting myself in character situations while I'm watching it. It's like even like you could seeing the her face of like, oh
Yeah.
my God, what did I get myself into? When he touches her and she kind of cringes.
Right.
I was like, oh my God, he's gonna rape her. Like something weird's gonna happen, which I don't know if it'd be considered rape as a whole consent thing, but
Right. Yeah.
off topic. It just scared me. I
was a
was
weird
really
scene.
scared.
It was really
Yeah.
weird.
But I
Weird
think
scene.
that
I thought it
too,
was gonna turn for worse.
they're showing Pope in like when he does hurt people for
Yeah.
the most part, he doesn't want. He doesn't go around wanting to hurt people.
Right.
It's almost like he sees no other option. So I think that had they had him be violent or whatever, it just might not fit with the character.
Right.
Because Pope always just feels like he's put in those situations where he has no other way to go about. Like he doesn't want to beat this guy up. He doesn't know what he did, but he'll throw him off the boat because he's just like, I don't know what else to do. Like
Right.
he,
Right.
Yeah, I wonder. He says to her, "We can't." He says, "Say we can't." She says, and this is we can't, Andrew. So like, and I guess I missed this. His name is Andrew, but
Yeah,
everybody
his
calls him
name is
Pope.
Andrew.
So you're assuming that that's with Ellen Barkin is what he's
Right.
having.
She's the only one that's
Right?
called him
I think
Andrew
she's
so
the only
far.
one that I've heard call me Andrew.
So if that's the case, and if that's something that he's having her say,
She's got a look on her face.
Yeah, she knows. Then
She
maybe
knows.
that's
You
giving
know
us
what I
the
mean?
yes to what we thought happened
Well,
last
yeah,
week.
right, or like, but like, I don't think that he's having her say something that happened like last week. I think that's like deep-seated, traumatic, emotional stuff from way back, probably. So that I'm thinking, what if this is like what pushed her in the weird, like, I like to have sex with my son's direction of the show? What if her son at 17 forced himself on her or something like that, and then that creates this dynamic that like pushes everything that direction? I don't know. I'm just rambling here.
Maybe
Oh,
he
but
was
then
the one that was
possibly-
having sex with his sister.
Oh.
Maybe that's it.
You think that he was anything to Julia, maybe?
Yeah, maybe that's why she had to leave. I mean,
Maybe Smurf is not the only one who calls him Andrew.
Yeah.
that's my prediction.
There's a hint right there.
I know it's not predictions right now,
Crazy.
No,
but
I could see that.
Yeah,
'Cause the whole like main plot was kind of that love triangle that
Exactly.
Jay sees on his bed.
exactly, and nobody wants to talk about her. Nobody wants to. He's the only one that really kind of acknowledges her, especially
Right.
you know at the graveyard.
I don't think you could have like it would be very complicated story wise if you had like Pope and Catherine being a thing that no one talks about that exists, and Pope and Julia being a thing that no one talks about that existed. I think that would be. I mean, I guess it's possible. It just seems like it'd be a lot of subtlety for the audience to
I
like,
think it would
pick
make
up on.
more sense though why there's such a tension between Baz and Pope, because if it's just some random girl that's been in their life for a long time, big deal. But then you add someone who's a sister, who is
Right.
also Baz's half sister / girlfriend, lover. It's gonna create more.
Well, so speaking of which, we saw the stuff on the bed at the beginning, right? When Jay was like, "What is this?" and it was like Baz and Julia. What did you say? B plus J? Is that what
It
it said?
was Baz plus or B plus P plus J, so
Yeah.
Baz, Pope, and Julia.
Got it.
A triangle, love triangle.
There was
Yeah.
3. I didn't even
Yeah,
catch
there
that.
was 3. Yeah.
Mind blown.
on a bedpost. Dun dun dun.
All 3
Jay
together.
was coincidentally
Exactly.
sleeping next to.
Oh.
Nothing is accidental on this show.
Yeah,
No,
exactly.
it really isn't.
Yeah.
It really, I would actually urge people, like, once the show is done, to go back and start watching the pilot and the second episode and just watch some of the things that are shot that make no sense if you do not know the end stories. Like, kind of like all the secrets
Right.
that come up.
Right.
Because the cutting, the editing, the looks that happen, they're not meaningless. Every look is in that show. It has a reason. It has a, like, I remember even just watching the pilot before going into audition and then reading it after I knew what happened in the first season and coming back and watching it again, and I was like, oh man, they show you. I didn't know.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, I don't know, that's how I am with Homeland. I have to always go back and watch it from like the beginning, and then you
Right.
see everything. You're like, oh,
Yeah.
how did I not see that? So I'm going to have to do that.
Plus, why wouldn't you want to just watch it all
Exactly.
over again as soon as
Exactly.
it's over? Go all the way back.
Well,
It's a good binging show.
It'll
Yeah.
get
Yeah.
renewed for season 2,
For
and then
sure.
and then we'll all go watch the first season again leading up to season 2. That's
Definitely.
always what happens on
There
this
we
thing.
go.
Yes.
And then every season you have more and more catch up to do.
Yeah.
Like I'm gonna watch all of Game of Thrones again pretty soon. I think.
I got to start on that.
Because that'll take you
Yeah.
a long time.
Anyway, so
Let's talk about, so Jay's mom, Julia.
yep.
I guess, is there anything else we can add to that?
I mean,
He's looking for, he's
really.
trying to decide, I guess, like what the relationship is. Like he goes over to Baz's house, he sees
Yeah.
pictures. He's really trying to dig and figure out who she was, why she's not there, all of that. Anything else on that?
yeah. I mean, it definitely like and the way that Baz reacts when he's there, and he's like, "This
Right.
is my house. You can't just be coming to my house." I thought that was pretty interesting that he was so insensitive.
Yeah.
On the birthday, it's not like that's a secret. I mean, Julia's obviously somebody that it was in all of their lives, and they all knew Julia, and they all know that it's Pope's twin. So, whatever his relationship was to her, the fact that he was just like, "Get out of my house," was surprising to me. I thought that I was a little taken aback by that. And granted, he
Right.
was stressed because he's like Smurf's freezing me out. So I guess that's really what's on his mind. But I don't know. I'm struggling to figure out what the actual relationships are. I'm sure like we'll get that revealed to us pretty soon. But
Right.
Most likely, yeah. I think he was pissed because he thought that he was going to be the one to take Jay under his wing, and now it's turning out to be Pope.
right.
And so anything can go bad for him. Like they can all throw him under the bus next time, and then he's screwed, and he's technically not really family.
Right.
So he'll be the first one out, especially if she already hates Catherine.
Yeah. And he like begs her to please make things
yeah.
right.
Like that's his only in.
Yeah.
But do you think he does that? Do you think he does that because he wants them to get along and he wants what's best? Or do you think, I mean, because I feel like most of the characters on this show, the motivation is always self-serving.
absolutely.
It's always,
Oh, it's definitely for
so,
himself.
you know, like, so there has to be a reason, I guess, why, and I'm trying to look at this from like the,
Right.
you know,
From
just
somebody who
like,
doesn't know.
Wait, I
someone
don't
who
know what's
doesn't- I don't
happening.
know what's
Right.
happening. But I think that it's one of those things where it's like the relationships, except for moments where you glimpse into genuine relationships of Smurf with her kids or
Right.
brother on brother or like the cemetery, like except for those moments where you glimpse those normal relationships, you can pretty much guarantee that they're just going to do things for their own benefit. It just might have like 2 or 3 layers. So it's like, I'm doing this now, but really what I'm doing underneath is I'm trying to pit this person against you. Or I think that that's the underlying theme when it comes to, especially I think with Baz, you get to see more and more of that because he comes across as such a nice guy at first, or like the normal one.
Yeah, right. Agreed. I mean, it definitely seems like the only one that is 2 steps ahead all the time is Smurf. She's the one that seems to have like the real, like, if she's doing something, I mean, it is maybe in self-interest, but it's like it always feels like she's playing the long game. Very rarely do I feel like you're getting exactly what you think you're getting in the scene with her.
Exactly. And I mean, she shows that with the whole drill.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Cut that
Poor
shit.
things. They were freaking out. Yeah.
I'd be freaking out too if I was that.
So I guess that's the safety word. So we hadn't seen that they actually had the backup safety word actually built in, but they all react accordingly and get the hell out of there. Yeah. So
it's a surprisingly well-oiled machine, this family. Like, they've been doing it for a long time. I mean, have you seen their house?
Yeah.
You know,
beautiful,
and they all have their own place on top of that.
Right.
And I don't know why. Like, every location is just amazing on this show. And you're like, how do they even make this much money? But it's definitely a well-oiled machine. Like, they're on it. They know if they have to get out.
They got stashes everywhere.
Seriously.
it's also weird that they all, but then they all have no money. They're all struggling. Like,
That's what I don't get. Especially like Baz has that stash at his dad's place. Like, why can't he kind of get into that when he needs the money to pay rent?
That's the backup money.
Maybe.
That's
but
his bank. His dad's little hideout.
Let's talk about his dad. His dad's gone. Missing.
Disappeared, right?
Yeah.
I don't really understand. That's a relationship that I find confusing. Last week he was like, why don't you just do it already, right?
Right.
So he
Meaning to
clearly
shoot,
clearly hates his dad. He has a lot of hatred for him, or it's love-hate or something like that. And he called this hospital expecting that, I guess this seems like this had happened before. Where do you guys think his dad is?
I don't even know.
Oh, look at that look.
Probably-
She just gave me a look.
I can't look anywhere because I'm giving stuff away. She's just going to be like this. I'm going to get sued by the network.
I just put a pair of glasses on you.
Yeah, exactly. Poker face.
I know nothing, Jon Snow.
I don't know. Maybe he just got drunk and walked off.
I
I
would
mean,
No
I
way.
don't
No
know. I
way.
know. That's such a
Somebody, you think
simplistic-
somebody took him?
What if Smurf, I don't know, kidnapped him? I don't know. What, like something? Maybe.
But like, what good?
Blame
what
Smurf.
good
Always
is
blame
he?
Smurf.
He has, yeah.
Safe bet.
Yeah.
He's kind of just like dead weight.
Yeah, he's totally dead
Yeah.
weight.
They threw him off the
There's
plane, you
nothing-
guys. We didn't see it, but
Yeah,
they
right?
threw him off the
There was
plane.
one instance where you just see a body just flailing. That was him.
There was a scene somewhere.
Yeah, I don't know. That was definitely a question mark. That one just sort of they left that one hanging. But back to the whole like the drill and all that with the confession. We started to touch on that. So
Right.
so what do we think is going to happen now? Now that Smurf knows what's actually happened, and Baz was pretty truthful. Aside from being like, we sold this to Ren and made some money.
Right.
He outed everybody. Jay gets sat down at the end of the episode by Smurf about it. Kind of feels like Smurf was like, I pretty much knew what was going on all along. I didn't know specifically, but now I really know what's going on. Does everybody get reprimanded? Like, how do you guys think things proceed next episode?
I think so. I mean, there's no way that you can pull one off on Smurf and not get reprimanded.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, it's just not going to happen.
Unless
He's
you're
gonna
Jay.
Screw them over
Exactly.
little by little.
Jay seems to have like a soft spot, maybe because he's new and he's young
younger, yeah.
and he doesn't really quite know the ways of the world,
And she
their
hasn't-
world
and
yet.
she hasn't had him yet.
Exactly.
She hasn't had him yet. Yeah, that's the other reason.
That's, she has
He's-
to warm him up a little bit.
He's still so shy.
I know.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
So I was like,
It's always such an uncomfortable scene when she walks in on them naked.
Yeah. Well, except for Craig just being like,
Yeah.
running around in the first episode naked. He's cool with it.
It's all good.
He was cool
he's
with
been
it.
there for years. He's fine.
He
Yeah.
likes to be naked, apparently.
There's a website that somebody tweeted at me last week about the butts on Animal
There's
Kingdom.
a lot of butts. I was going to say.
Well, I mean,
There's a full website for it?
There's
Like
a full
Tumblr
website,
or
and they're
something?
rated on gratuity levels,
Oh, wow.
and if they make sense for the storyline, if they don't, if they surprisingly so far all of them do.
Okay.
There wasn't like a most gratuitous butt shot so
There
far.
wasn't a most. I mean, I would have thought it would have been in that case they would have probably picked Ren's shot when they were having sex. sex. But they were like, no, because, for every 4 guy butts, we finally get to see a girl butt.
It's true. A lot of male nudity on the show so far.
And normally it's the other way around.
Which is
so,
great.
Yeah, exactly.
We're not complaining.
We're loving it.
Female nudity too. That we've talked about this. They've pushed the female nudity in different ways. They haven't pushed the male nudity because your character and Lucy both have had scenes that feel like they show a lot for cable,
Yeah.
right?
There's a lot of boob.
Right? Because both the times it's happened, we've all looked at each other like, did they really just show that, or was it blurred and we didn't notice it? But I feel like they're just showing everything, right? That's what's happening.
It seem like that.
I think they're cutting around what they can.
Yeah.
I obviously they can't show certain things.
Right.
So I would say it's a safe bet that standards and practices comes in and says no, I actually don't think that you can have a nipple or whatever. They're just kind of, those are blurred. We saw it today too with the stripper scene where everything is where they play with the focus a lot. But I think that again, some of the nudity is always in context of, for the females at least, it's in how they relate to their partner. So it's for Carolina, who plays Lucy, which is Baz's, I guess, girl down in Tijuana.
His mistress,
It's the same thing. It's showing you that their relationship is very different from Baz and Kath.
Right.
Because they're not showing you that with Kath. So I guess it's always very intentional. Same thing with Craig and Ren. I think that they show you that because they want to show you that the same way he is with jumping off planes and riding his motorcycle and surfing, that's how his relationship is. So they're kind of they're upping the ante in that sense, and they're trying to make it. I don't know that they can actually get away with showing certain things.
Right, there wasn't any nipple, but there was under boob and side boob, and which is, it's definitely pushing the envelope. I don't mind it. It's like watching kind of HBO, I feel, or Showtime.
Doesn't really feel like it makes a whole lot of difference.
Honestly. Yeah, it really doesn't.
It was more of one of those things where you're like, I just am not used to seeing this on TV.
Right.
Yeah, that was the thing.
Yeah.
But should we talk about Darren a little bit?
Yes.
Yeah, right.
Darren. He's got a lot going on with him.
Yeah.
Yeah. We didn't really get to see his love interest, but I can't wait to see that again.
Next episode.
Yeah, it seems like they're gonna show us that next week. Yeah.
Exactly. And he just had a spat with Smurf.
Right.
Like he really did.
He doesn't seem like he seems the least capable and that's a hard thing to say.
No.
He seems like the least capable of all of them to me. He seems like the one most likely to just get himself into huge trouble. Actually, I guess Craig feels like he's totally
Craig is the mess up.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Darren thinks. You can tell he's thinking.
Craig just does.
No, he just does a lot of coke, Craig.
That's it. That's his claim to fame.
But it does seem like Darren is maybe the one who is not as afraid of Smurf, or he's the one who's always instigating the well, why are we doing this job? Or when he came in, I think on episode 2 or 3, the last one, where he was like, my fingers, I got these scars. He'll talk up to her, talk back to her, back to her.
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting. I don't know why I have such a soft spot for Craig. I have such more a soft spot for Craig than Darren.
Makes 2 of us.
Yeah.
I do too.
I don't know. I think I like Darren more than Craig.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I have a soft spot for Darren.
Craig's got such a jolly laugh, I feel like. Maybe I'm...
You just like him because he's the cool, tough guy. No?
I don't know about that. Darren just seems like a big he's kind of a downer, and he just seems I don't know.
He's going through
a little
lot,
emo.
man.
He's super emo. Yeah, he's super emo.
What about the Craig-Darren relationship, which I think is amazing? When they have scenes where they put them together.
Yeah, it is fun.
That banter that they have, when they talk to each other, I think that is really fun.
Yeah,
it is.
It's true. Yeah, it is really funny.
They're the other bromance.
It's less emo when they're together.
Definitely, definitely. Because they are sort of the most of the brothers. They're the 2 that are kind of the surfer, let's go have fun kind of guys in their own ways. Because Baz is real serious.
So is Pope.
And Pope's real serious.
Pope's just crazy.
Takes that to another level.
He's just let me smash this paintball gun.
He just doesn't sleep, sits on the end of his bed.
Stands outside by the pool naked.
Yeah. So what do you guys think he's doing with bashing the old fireplace out there?
I don't know, maybe that's just his way of getting his anger out.
That is something, I'm
it's just
telling
an
you.
emotional thing.
I don't think so.
That's him working out. That's him working out.
I think he's hiding something there, or
there's something going on there, and I'll have to figure it out later.
You can't smash brick with a hammer, though. like only like right-handed all the time and expect that to be like an even workout. You'll just get like one side of your body all jacked and hurts your back, right? You'd have to try to be ambidextrous with your hammer and smash from both sides. Right. Anyway.
Yeah.
Another fun fact for everyone if you were planning on working out.
Exactly. Ben's giving out workout tips.
Yeah, smash yourself with a hammer. Just
Love it. All right. I think we covered everything pretty
did.
much, right?
I mean, there was definitely that one interaction that I wrote down here that we didn't talk about, which is when Pope is talking to Jay and he's like, the 7 seals, and the first 4 were broken, the 4 horsemen. Do you think we're the 4 horsemen? I thought that was all pretty interesting stuff. Like, I don't know, there was a question like he's asking Jay, like, how are we bad people? Do you really think we're bad people? Kind of was that what I got? Is that what you guys got too?
Yeah, I kind of got that. I think, I mean, I didn't really know where it was going.
Yeah,
I don't
me
know
neither.
if that's something that's going to pop up later. I feel like it was a seed of some sort, but I didn't know where he was going with that.
I kind of saw it as like
Yeah.
a foreshadow because he
Right.
mentioned the ones that lead up to the apocalypse. And
Yeah.
I was like, it's probably, do you think that we kind of ruined this all and it's all about to go to complete waste?
Yeah,
like all
maybe.
these years.
Yeah, it could be. I guess the only other thing I wanted to touch on before the episode was over was just the way that Jay reacted to Smurf sitting him down at the end. He didn't seem particularly rattled by it. In fact, another thing Brandon said, Jay also didn't seem too shaken up by her rant at the end, which is like definitely. He seems pretty comfortable. Like, I think he knows that Smurf's like not really on the up and up. I think he can just kind of tell, like, a little bit. Like, I knew my mom and she was a junkie, but like she was a good person, and you kind of act like she didn't exist. And there's something weird going on here. You're not telling me something. I think he knows Smurf's a little bit of a villain.
Absolutely.
And he's navigating through that. So I think he's a little more comfortable standing up to her because he doesn't feel like he owes her too much. But I mean, he was very willing to like get all the bags together, get in the truck, Venezuela, get
he doesn't want to get caught.
Yeah, who wants to go to jail?
He's also experiencing it, I think, the way, and we talked about this earlier, like the way the audience would. Jay is the audience's perspective, where he's thrown into this really crazy environment and navigating these relationships as best he can, and again, it's probably for a 16-year-old kid or a 17-year-old kid, it's very... that is normally easily manipulated, and he's coming out from this trauma, and it's appealing to suddenly be like, oh, I can make this much money and like doing this job, and but he's still kind of the outsider.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Very much so.
Even Nikki seems to be more easily immersed into this lifestyle. Jay is still always kind of with the audience being like, I don't know how to feel about this.
Yeah, Nikki's getting totally sucked in.
He
Totally
is.
sucked in. The brothel.
Yeah.
I mean, she has a good weed hookup, so
Yeah, she does. That's
right.
funny.
Yeah.
That's a good scene.
Smurf's like, oh, yeah, totally.
I'm jealous.
Yeah.
She should come to Ren.
Yeah, right?
Just saying.
All right, let's get into predictions.
All right, great.
let's do it.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
We have theme music.
Yeah.
Yes, and lights. So I already said my prediction. I think that it was Pope was hooking up with Julia, and that's why.
More incest.
Yeah. I
Can't
think
avoid it
that's
on this
why.
show. There's no happy endings for anything.
No,
Yeah.
there is not. They go there, definitely.
Ooh,
Yeah.
Going off of your prediction, light bulb just went off in my head. What if it turned out that Pope was actually Jay's dad?
That would be a whole nother level.
The bromance would just go so far.
That'd be insane.
But like an incest father?
Incest father.
Oh, God.
I don't think Jay would be as smart as he is.
Or as
That's
handsome.
true.
Or as
Yeah,
handsome. It'd
exactly.
be a weird thing.
It'd
Yeah.
be because
Yeah.
twins,
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I mean, you never know, I guess.
Biology.
I'm sure it's open, but yeah.
I don't know.
Ooh.
That was not my actual prediction, though. Just going off of that. Oh, shoot. I had one and it totally left my brain. I think that Baz is going to just break down completely with everything that's going on with his dad, with losing the money, with Catherine. I could see him being the character that kind of bounces out for a little while, maybe goes back with Lucy to Mexico.
Yeah.
And then things go down with the guys. He comes back and he's totally out of touch.
Interesting.
We have Andre Gennaro here says Sean Hattasey, who plays Pope, didn't ask me anything, and he says Pope is like that because of his past relationship with his mother or something of that sort. So
Okay.
yeah, I mean I think that
So then that makes.
Okay.
they're connecting, more
Okay.
and more. I think that we're gonna get some I think Jay and the teacher. I think think we're definitely.
oh,
we might even get like the episode just like might even open with like Jay boning the teacher in like a really like Ren Craig levels. No, not that level.
No one is in Ren Craig's levels. Let's
Right.
just establish that.
It's just shot for shot, and Jay's like coke off
never
the teacher's
mind.
ass.
That would be hilarious.
Yeah, no.
The principal walks in
Right.
the classroom.
He was giving her the eye, like, hey, you
I
know,
was surprised,
yeah.
too. I didn't
think
think-
he's down.
I think stuff's gonna go down
Yeah.
with the two of them next week.
DTF.
And
He
I'm
likes
excited.
the
about
good girls want to go bad type of ladies.
Yeah.
We officially know Jay's type.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
That maybe they'll start getting down at school. That'd be really great.
Nikki tries to join, teacher kind of throws her.
I kind of feel like though she's the character that'll get involved and she'll see something or find out something she's not supposed to find out about because of it. That's kind of like my real prediction is I think that I don't think he's gonna bring her around the house actually, but I think that there's like a real chance that she'll find out something or see something and she'll be a loose end and he won't know like what to do, and I don't know. That's my prediction.
That's a good one.
Awesome. I guess you can't really give prediction. Oh,
I
can't.
already know.
I know.
Let's
She
see.
knows.
Make one up.
I predict that. I don't know. I don't want to
guys
make.
are gonna get
I
picked
can't.
up for
There's
a
no
second
way that I can make a prediction and
Right.
not. Yeah.
You're gonna get an email
Not get in
like
trouble.
Exactly.
Christina.
So.
Fair enough.
Awesome.
Solid predictions.
Yep.
Solid predictions.
Love it. All right. Well, that wraps up the show for this episode. Thank you guys so much for watching. Feel free to continue the conversation in the YouTube comments. You can rate us on iTunes and follow us on Twitter. Continue the conversation there. We love to see your tweets. We love to see your predictions. And all of you guys, where can we find you? Start off over
Hey
here.
guys, so you can find me, again, Leslie Ambriz on Twitter and Instagram at In Less Than No Time, and less with just one S.
And what about you, Christina?
You can find me on Twitter at Christina_Ochoa and on Instagram at Ochoa Christina.
There's no underscore in that one?
There's no underscore in that
so
one.
confusing.
I know.
Did somebody else have your name?
Somebody else had my name by the time I joined. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm Ben Bateman Media. My name is Ben Bateman, and you can find me at Ben Bateman Media on Twitter and Instagram, and that's all. I don't have a Snapchat. I'll start one soon.
All right, and I'm Alina Vision. You can follow me on all social media at Alina Vision, and that's Vision with 2 S's. Until next time, I'll see you later.
Bye, guys.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.